Take the world. Take the world.
And the kingdom and dominion, and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven, shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
And after will I send for many hunters. So the fishes are going to turn into hunters. Pursuant to the scriptures, the Lord is going to give us spiritual power. Right? And the fishes are going to be turned into hunters. And they shall hunt them from every mountain. That's you niggas. And Esau too. Ain't just you niggas. After we, you know what? After we're done with these niggas, we're going to go for you, Esau. We'll come for you. Because you're the ultimate nigga. I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. So the Heavenly Father, He gonna give us spiritual power, man. That's the real power. Spiritual power is much more powerful than a gun, than a bomb or a tank. It's for spiritual power. You can go into the mind of somebody and really fuck them up. Oh yeah.
Now also many nations are gathered against thee, that say, let her be defiled, and let our eye look upon Zion. But they know not the thoughts of the Lord, neither understand they his counsel. For he shall gather them as the sheaves into the floor. Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion. For I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy hoofs brass. And thou shalt beat in pieces many people, and I will consecrate their gain unto the Lord, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who may have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem Shah. All right, just want to get into some news and prophecy. You know, everything is falling in place, and things are just steady progressing. You know, one thing about it, prophecy is constantly on the move. You know, there's no idleness. You know, there's no going backwards. All right, because as we see things, you know, get heated, you know, and certain things seem as if they're dying down, but no, everything is in full motion. You know, and this is why Yahweh Shai laid the foundation. All right, with this scripture, this is Matthew 26:41. Is Yahweh Shai speaking? Watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. You know, so as we're constantly tapped into prophecy, what's going on, this increases our faith. All right, which is good for the spirit. Okay, faith, all right, and trusting Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah is good for the spirit. And the more that we see the Lord is at work real time, the more we increase, man. So watching is a major part of this ministry, man. Seeing the different things that's going on, all right, and filtering it through prophecy, man. All right, what you're going to get. Now, the scriptures speak about uproars of the people, okay, which we're going to get into these things. I got a few videos I want to get into. Now, the first video, let's go straight to it. Because as we see, all these, protests, all right, going on now, we understand that what's happening, all right, what's happening on these college campuses, a lot of it is funded, a lot of it is staged and set up, okay, but you have authentic protests, that's happening, all right, simultaneously, okay, and while they putting a lot of emphasis, on these protests in America, all right, on these college campuses, there's actual major protests going on in the land of Israel, okay, because a lot of people, they just look at, how these small hats, all right, the IDF, is just pummeling, the civilians in Hamas, and they look at it as if, the small hats have the upper hand. Nah, man, they're crumbling from within. This war has a major impact on their economy, man. Okay, you have a lot of these small hats, all right, the citizens being misplaced, 70,000 citizens, have been misplaced in northern Israel. Okay, then you have more leaving. Okay, you have, the economy suffering due to shipping, because of what the Houthi rebels are doing. So these small hats, pretty much, Iran is at a war of attrition, okay, with these small hats, and it's breaking them down, and they can take out their frustration by, just pummeling, civilians in Hamas, meaning in Gaza, okay, but ultimately they're being chipped away at, all right, and ultimately it's the Lord's doing it, man, okay. So I want to get that word attrition, then we'll play that video just so we can, because you'll hear this word, thrown around, dealing with war. And that's how, the American government is doing with the people. Okay. Attrition. Let's see. The war of attrition. All right, so you go here. All right. Copy and paste this. Because this is a term, that you're likely to hear pretty often, dealing with what's going on, with these conflicts, what Russia is doing, they consider that a war of attrition, what they're doing with Ukraine, and what Iran, is doing from a distance, through their proxy is a war of attrition against these small hats. Okay. Now, when you go to war of attrition, it says war of attrition, all right, is a prolonged, all right, war or period of conflict during which each side seeks to gradually wear out the other by a series of small scale actions, man. So you'll see, like I say, the Houthi rebels, interrupting, shipping routes, going into the state of Israel. Okay, you'll see the Hezbollah, destroying tanks, from the northern, border, all right, of Israel, hitting, certain communication, centers. Okay. And then you have, these Syrian, Iraqi, resistant forces, they're, doing special military operations here and there. And what's happening, hey, these small hats are being worn down. Okay. They're losing a lot of military hardware. They're losing personnel, and most of their their military is reserved. So these men that are dying are men, all right, that are a part of the workforce. Okay, and what drives an economy is the workforce. Okay, the blue collar, middle class. Okay, and what's happening, Hamas, what they're doing, because as the IDF is killing civilians, okay, Hamas, all right, is killing IDF soldiers. Now there are Hamas soldiers that are being, they're being killed, okay, but they're picking off more of the IDF, and the IDF, all right. Remember, Hamas, they don't have jobs. They don't have an economy that depends on them going to work. They're full-time soldiers, man. Okay, this they life. Okay, but the IDF soldiers that are being picked off, okay, through guerrilla warfare, through the tunnel systems that Hamas, have in Gaza. All right, that's costly to the economy, man. Okay, so a small head Israeli death, okay, is way more crucial, okay, than a Hamas death, man. If that makes sense. All right, so let's play this. He's going to go into the protest, that's happening in the state of Israel. Okay, now this is.
Is covering the protests on college campuses across the United States. Some of them are covering the Israeli bombing of Rafah overnight and the slaughtering of civilians, but almost none of them, I can't find any American corporate media that is covering the hundreds of thousands of Israelis who are pouring onto the streets of Tel Aviv to protest Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, calling for his removal from power, and they're calling for a ceasefire. This is Israel. This is Tel Aviv. Journalist Dan Cohen, probably the only one covering this, he tweeted this a short time ago. If Israel agrees to the ceasefire, then Ben-Gvir and Smotrich will collapse the Netanyahu government and unprecedented upheaval in Israeli society will begin. Israel's gigantic internal rift, temporarily papered over by the trauma of October 7th and the war on Gaza, will exacerbate to new levels, potentially collapsing the state of Israel. So it appears that Dan is one of the only Western media journalists actually covering this story. And Dan Cohen joins us now from Uncaptured Media. Dan, great to see you. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Clayton.
So it appears, Dan, that the media in the West doesn't want us to see these massive protests in Tel Aviv against Netanyahu. I mean, let's start there. No coverage of this. I turn on Lester Holt on the NBC Nightly News. You turn on the CBS. There's no coverage of the tens of thousands of people that are protesting Netanyahu in his own country.
Yeah, there's a massive internal divide in Israeli society that is basically ignored in the Western media. Nobody wants to talk about it. And I mean, that divide existed even before the events of October 7th, before this horrific war on Gaza. Last summer, in the summer of 2023, there were massive protests, largely by the same sort of class of people, liberals from
You see them streets, okay? So while they got you focused on, 200, all right, simple ass, dumbass American, college students, who couldn't show you, all right, what Palestine was, okay? Don't have a clue of what's going on. They're constantly showing you they're on repeat, cops, whooping the, the science professor ass, all right? Kicking college students in the ass. Okay, they showing you that, but look at them swarms, tens of thousands of people that stay in the state of Israel. All right, that's being heavily affected by this war, man. Okay, and it all goes into prophecy, which we'll go into it.
Tel Aviv and that area, who were protesting against the what they called the judicial coup, the basically neutering of the Supreme Court in Israel and handing of basically all power to the Knesset. And the Times of Israel reported, I believe, that 28% of Israelis were considering leaving the country permanently. So it was already.
Wow.
Wait a minute, 28%. Okay, 28% of all right, the country, the inhabitants, all right, the citizens of Israel talking about leaving the country, but those are the people, okay, to the point where conditions are so bad that they want to leave the country. Wait a minute, those are the chosen people, okay? They're fulfilling prophecy, man. All right, but you have 28%. You know, let's see how many. All right, population of Israel. And we're gonna get a prophecy, man. All right. So the population of the state of Israel is 9.5 million. Okay. So let's just round it up to 10 million, for easy math. All right. 28%, that will be 2.8 million. So you have 2.8 million. All right. Roughly, 2.5, 2.8, give or take. All right. So you got 2.5 million people that want to leave. Okay. The land. Wait a minute. What part of prophecy is that? What part of the game is that? Okay. So let's go here. Okay. Here it is. This is supposed to be prophecy fulfilled. All right. So let's just get this real quick prophecy. It shows, all right, that these people are just lying, man, and that's the main thing. Okay, that's what this man wants to stop. Okay, truth from flowing. Okay, and the more he goes into this conflict, the more, all right, that it's been exposed that they're not the people. Okay, and they're not the victims. Okay, this is Jeremiah 30:10. It says, "Therefore fear not, O my servant Jacob, said the Lord Yahweh by Shema Shai, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity, and Jacob," okay, and Jacob, finish this, "shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid." Okay. So you mean to tell me that that they fulfilling this prophecy, and 28% of their population, all right, it wants to leave? Okay, they're protesting against the government. This is the heavenly Jerusalem. This is Mount Zion of the scriptures. Okay, but you have 28% of the population, all right, want to leave, and then if they were the fulfillment of prophecy, they should all be immortal. Okay, all right, and the scriptures say all our enemies shall be found liars, man. Okay, and this is what we're seeing happen in real time. So let's let it run some more.
The government was the whole state of Israel, the Zionist project, was in a state of crisis before October 7th. And that speaks to the divide between the kind of Zionist left, if we can call it that, and the Zionist right. The Zionist left that wants to have sort of realpolitik and maybe a sort of permanent occupation and manage the conflict, and the Zionist right, which is more powerful, that wants genocide, ethnic cleansing of all the Palestinians, get rid of all of them. And that has been existing, once basically a total theocracy. Now, October 7th just poured a huge amount of gas on that fire. It basically upended the entire paradigm because, the whole idea of we can permanently occupy these people was discredited. Now, you could say it's discredited from a, human perspective and say, well, you can't do that. And not only is it's wrong to do, but it's also not going to work. Or you can say the right-wing perspective. You can take the right-wing Zionist perspective and say, well, you can't do that because you have your enemies just on the other side of that line, and they're going to plot to try to kill you, which is also true in a sense. So the kind of centrist big lie has totally been discredited. And I think that's really what's at the heart of what's going on here.
If you ride your ATV uninsured, things can get a little bumpy.
So this
So even though we're in the land of Israel, all right, the state of Israel, okay, the state of Israel, you see, you have division of the left and right. You know, the left, you know, being the more conservative, you know, pretty much, you know, kind of want to chill on the war. You know, they still want to dominate and, you know, occupy, you know, their land. Okay, they still want to dominate the Palestinians, but you know they're not as radical as the right. All right, but he said the right is more powerful, you know, in the Israeli government, and they're the ones that want genocide. Okay, all out war, all out extermination. Okay, all in First Samuel, you know, the 15th chapter. You know, like that's them guys, man. All right, wow. And this is what we see. Ultimately, the Lord, you know, has the spirit because, hey, the least of the flock has to draw them out, you know. So, pretty much you see the spirit, you know, of madmen on these small hats, man, you know, to fulfill prophecy. But it's division everywhere. Everyone is divided, man. You know, it's just the kingdom where everyone is divided. Yep, that's the spirit. I was just gonna ask for that, brother. All right, this the brother Yahweh, the hopeful elect 3. It says, if Satan also be divided against himself, all right, and these Edomites, whether they're in the land, all right, in the state of Israel, whether they're in Europe, okay, America, you see, these Edomites are divided, man. All right, these Edomites are the seed of Satan in the earth, man. Okay, it says, if Satan be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because you say that I cast devils through Beelzebub. Okay, so this is what we're seeing. Okay, this is what we're seeing is nothing but division on every level. You know, and we're gonna get some more, you know, videos, another video dealing with, you know, protests here, you know, domestically in America. All right. Yeah, it was a good one, brother. I gotta add this one to the arsenal. This is the brother, the spiritual arsenal. You know, and be careful. This is the brother in the poem Isaiah 9:19, and it says, "Through the wrath of the Lord, all right, of hosts, is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel to the fire." And this is what we seeing, man. This is what it's building up to, because this is speaking of nuclear destruction. Okay, so the Lord, all right, has all these things planned out and is building up to the ultimate judgment that the Lord has planned, all right, for, all right, this society, man. All right, for this age. The Lord is finna judge this whole age, man. Okay? And America is going to get the worst of it. All right? It says, no man shall spare his brother. And that's the spirit that's in the earth. Everyone's at conflict. But you see how the Lord has the elect, you know, we're getting closer and closer. You know, we're, you know, getting, you know, we're pretty much we're the only, you know, when you go into the hopeful elect, all right, we're the only sect of people on the earth that's moving in unison. Okay, and we're constantly, you know, getting more unified through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai. You know, we're really one body in Yahweh Shai, man, not them clowns. Okay, one body in Dallas, man. Okay, but the hopeful elect are the real one body in Yahweh Shai, man. All right, so yeah, let's let this play some more.
Giant internal rift, as you point out, papered over temporarily by October 7th, this rallying around of, you know, so everyone raising the Israeli flag, of course, the atrocities that we saw that day, and then the rallying of support to go after Hamas and end this once and for all. Now we're starting to see the rift once again. You say that the Netanyahu government will likely collapse if this ceasefire moves forward. Can you explain why? Why, if Netanyahu gives in, I guess, to the ceasefire agreement, which is now it seems like it's in place. However, Rafah is still being bombed. We can talk about that Netanyahu will be thrown out, and this is the collapse of his government.
Well, as soon as the news was reported from Al Jazeera that Hamas had accepted this ceasefire proposal that was brokered by the Qataris and Egyptians, and apparently with knowledge of the United States, of course, then the onus is on Israel. What is Netanyahu going to do? And the Netanyahu war cabinet was scheduled to meet, but even before that, they started bombing Rafah. So their answer was very clear, even though it hasn't even been I don't think officially rejected. It's obvious the Israelis invaded. They took over the Rafah crossing, so that the actions make it completely clear. And I don't think Netanyahu at any point will be willing to agree to a ceasefire, because if he does, well, what will happen? Itamar Ben-Gvir, the national security minister, and Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister, have said they will pull out of the government and it will collapse his cabinet. So then Israel goes to elections. Who knows what kind of government comes out of that? But really what happens then is the big lie that Israel can defeat Hamas and get the captives back is all exposed. I mean, since the beginning, Netanyahu has put out two contradictory goals. One, defeat Hamas. It's never been able to do that. It can kill a lot of civilians. It can drop a lot of bombs. It can cause all kinds of atrocities. But Hamas has the trump card in the tunnels. And it's been planning this for years and years and years, knowing exactly what Israeli capabilities are. And on the other side, Israel says, we're going to use military force to get the captives back. Those are two totally contradictory goals. And he's basically speaking out of both sides of his mouth to the kind of two main camps of Israeli society, lying to both of them. So if he agrees to a ceasefire, Itamar Ben-Gvir pulls out, Bezalel Smotrich pulls out, then the big lie is exposed, and the Israelis who want the captives back, who are demonstrating in the streets, they're gonna be after him. And then his base of support that he has rode to prominence, and he rode to prominence in the 90s, the settler movement and religious Zionism, and that has kept him in power most of the time since the mid 90s, for most of 30 years. They are going to be after his head too, because they're going to say, you were supposed to exterminate Gaza. We're supposed to wipe all those people out, expel them into Egypt, whatever other countries, and build settlements there. And you lied. So first, you have Netanyahu, who has his corruption scandals. He's facing indictments that's all on pause as long as the war goes on. And then so that's one level of it. Then you have basically the big lie of Zionism providing security, of the whole Netanyahu paradigm of, we're going to keep Gaza down. We're going to permanently occupy them. Same with the West Bank. And that will work. And that will just work forever. But obviously it does not. You cannot keep your boot on someone's neck permanently, especially as you become complacent and you privatize different parts of the military and you want it to be a smart military. And eventually that person who you are keeping down is going to figure out your weakness and is going to make a big move to attack you and change the situation. And that's what happened on October 7th. And as soon as that truth becomes clear to enough of the Israeli public, then Netanyahu is finished. So he will never agree to a ceasefire, as I see it.
Okay, so you see how the Most High got this devil in the trick bag. If a brother can post it in Proverbs 21:1. Okay, so you see how Netanyahu, all right, this nigga, man, this is a real nigga, man, thug life, man. This nigga, he's pretty much a felon. All right, this the prime minister. Okay, then this nigga lying to, both parties, saying, look, I'm gonna get the hostages back and I'm gonna exterminate Hamas. Okay, and he's nowhere near close to either one. Okay, so he's just doing what he can, trying to save face. All right, and is working against him. Okay, is working against him. Everything that these devils is doing is working against him, man. It was a time when everything that they did worked for them. Okay, but now we're seeing that the Lord is steering them, okay, the way he wants them to go, man. Okay, and it's to this third world's war in which Yahweh Shai will be established in the earth. This is Proverbs 21:1. All right. It says the king's heart, this from the brother Yaqub, the Hopeful Elect 3. It says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh by Shema Shai. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. And the Most High is the ultimate manipulator. All right. And ultimately, he's utilizing Yahweh Shai to manipulate the events in the earth, man. Okay. So everything is operating off the wheel of Yahweh by Shema Shai. And he's manipulating these certain leaders. You know, he's putting them in certain situations where they're forced to do his will. As the scriptures say, who have resisted his will, man. Okay, and this is what we're seeing playing out. All right. Yeah, that nigga there, Yahoo, is a real street nigga, man. You know? Yeah, Jake is just a micro version of an Edomite. Okay? Esau's on a whole nother level. All right, but the nigga around the corner, he's just a micro version of this devil, man. Okay, so let's I got another video. All right, now this is, let me see. Okay, 1 minute. Hold on, did I see if I sent it? I thought I sent it. Yeah, let me send it to my email. Let me see if I thought I did. Okay, yeah, I gotta send it. 1 sec. Send this other video. All right, and they're just dealing with, you know, protest over here. All right, that's happening in the States. Okay, and it's a little different, you know, from what we've been seeing with the pro, all right, Palestinians. Now we're seeing another element, you know, awakening, you know, and the Lord is causing all type of division, man. You know, on every level. And how about Shema Shai is causing all type of division, and we know what it leads to, man. Okay. See, they come. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I thought I already had it. Well, yeah.
And welcome back to the Stu Peters Show. I'm Paul Harrell, filling in for Stu. Stories of patriotic frat boys have been sweeping the nation after a group of fraternity members at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, went majorly viral and even received hundreds of thousands of dollars in donations after they were caught on video holding up an American flag on their campus, protecting it from hitting the ground.
All right, so yeah, he's gonna go into it, and now you have the good old boys, you know, getting involved. Okay, you have these Edomite patriots, you know, and pretty much, you know, because they're looking at now, you know, the pro-Palestinian, they're looking at those as anti-American, you know. So now you have these red-blooded Edomites, you know, they're getting involved. Okay, so I'm gonna let this play. All right, he's gonna keep going into it. You see, and we can't, you know, we talk about the Civil War, okay, but there's going to be, you know, a lot of racial conflict in America as well, okay. And while you niggas, you know, are focused on, you know, Chris Brown and Quavo, okay, Drake and Kendrick Lamar, okay, your true enemy, you know, is booting up. Okay, and these Edomites, you know, they have real life militias and, you know, militant groups. Okay, and you niggas, all right, you just randomly kill each other. Okay, so there's no one that's more behind in what's really going on than the nigga, and you're going to see. All right, you're going to see simple ass Eve. Okay, you know she has to be somewhere You know, he's a character in every scene somehow. You know, but yeah, I'm gonna let this play. All right, he's gonna expound on these things.
And being ripped away from the flagpole where left-wing protesters were planning on raising Palestinian colors in its place. Of course, immediately after this story was picked up by the national news media, politicos and social commentators divided up into two camps, with one claiming that these frat boys are the modern-day face of white supremacy, and with the other claiming that they're the shining example of American support for Israel. And one of the more ridiculous examples to choose from, Fox News actually reported on this story from almost entirely a pro-Israel perspective. Take a look.
Isaac Mala. Isaac, what motivated you to defend the flag?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And I'll say, when we talk about motivation for the flag, the primary reason I was on that quad, right, before this ever even began to become an American issue, I was on there because I'm Jewish and I'm Orthodox, and a lot of members that were holding up that flag were. And so we were there really just kind of holding up our Israeli flags and trying to stop hate. And there's been a lot of anti-Semitism around the country. So we were there first and foremost for our country of Israel. When this
So the brain trust over at Fox, according to them, the frat boys weren't exactly saving an American flag, but rather they were symbolically saving it in the name of Israel. But in all seriousness, in all actuality, that is a grotesque mischaracterization of what's actually going on here at colleges and universities all across the country. Legitimate protesters who want to see a ceasefire declared in Gaza, who want to put a stop to the indiscriminate slaughter of civilians, are being overtaken and in some cases thrown out of their protest zones by left-wing political radicals and BLM types who have seized this moment to embark.
All right, BLM. Okay. So George Soros has pulled BLM out of his pocket. Okay. What the hell is BLM? All right. When did niggas become pro-Palestinian? You see? What you see is all a script. It's all propaganda, and ultimately, you know, the aim is, okay, to address, you know, free speech and freedom of assembly. Okay, because they want to bust up the camps. Okay, that's the main thing. All right, that these devils want to do. This is what these things are leading to, man. Okay, so where the hell does the BLM come from? Black Lives Matter. Okay, yeah, so now they're on the scene.
Embark on a Marxian campaign not terribly unlike Occupy Wall Street or the infamous left-wing autonomous zones that sprouted up in 2020. We all remember the disaster that Chaz was. These so-called protesters have pitched tents. They've begun occupying college campuses, and in many, if not most cases, the protesters don't even know why they're there. The Palestinian cause has so quickly been merged with the anti-whiteness and LGBTism in the United States, which is hilarious when you consider the fact that Palestinians execute gays while Israel raises the rainbow flag over the Holy Land, that the Palestinian people are now taking a back seat in the messaging of these protests. Sure, a bunch of commies are using the Palestinian flag as a trendy new version of the hammer and sickle, but they don't actually care about Palestinians. They're doing what they're told by their left-wing campus activist groups, often funded by George Soros, and they appear to be doing everything they can to encourage the importation of Palestinian refugees into the United States. They say they care about the Palestinians, but they want to give Israel exactly what it wants, which is vacant land. They've prepared to move. They're prepared to move Palestinians out of their homeland and bring them here to the United States, paving the way for Israel's expansion. And, you know, just a few days after we saw the UNC frat boys defending Old Glory, more video footage came out of the University of Mississippi.
Oh, boy. Mississippi. All right. So I'm listening to this, and I'm saying, oh boy, because this is a different type of good old boy down here. Okay. So you're gonna see, all right, the devils. So what's happening, you know, and like I say, it's all orchestrated division, you know. So now you have the pro-Israelis, you know, joining with these patriots, okay, and then you have the left, you know, these right-wing patriots and the small hats are pretty much, you know, linking up, and then you have on the left, okay, with all right, BLM, you know, pro-alphabet, pro-Palestinian. It's just all over the place, man. Okay. And half these people don't know what they're standing for, what they're protesting for, man. Okay. They're just sheeple being programmed to think. Okay. So yeah, let's play a little bit more of this. All right. They in the good old state of Mississippi, which Oxford, you know, Ole Miss. I know Ole Miss football, you know, is probably the most, you know, notable thing when you think about Ole Miss. But it's about 2 hours north, you know, Jackson, you know, where we teach at, you know, and it's in the sticks, you know, it's in the woods. All right, so yeah, let's let this play.
Where Ole Miss frat boys absolutely demolished a morbidly obese black communist demonstrator who tried crossing a protest picket line to instigate a problem with them. They called her Lizzo. They offered her hundreds of dollars if she could do a push-up, one push-up, and at least one of them mimicked chimp noises in her direction. Now let's take a look at this instant classic video footage out of Ole Miss. Out of Ole Miss.
All right, so you see all these Edomites, okay, and Eve. All right, this is a Big Shirley in college. Okay, Big Shirley getting a degree. So all these Edomites, men, okay, and it's just this one, you know, what are you doing? You know, God damn, boy. Black people, you're looking terrible out here, man. This is your front line, all right, in the confusion, okay? So she's out there, and those Edomites, all right, calling her Lizzo, okay, saying that they'll pay her hundreds of dollars if she can do one push-up, okay? What the hell are you doing? All right, well, somehow, some way, Eve is always, you know, on the scene. You know, she don't have a clue of what the hell's going on, man. Okay.
Wow, these guys, that certainly is going to be a classic in the Internet Hall of Fame for a very long time. These guys were mocking and ridiculing tyrannical leftists who want to seize upon the misfortune of a kicked-around, genocided population of Palestinians and use it as a cudgel to beat white people over the head right here in America. But guess what? I don't think it's going to work. It's not going to work this time. Not this time. And not with this generation, we're coming to find out. These young men, you know, just like you saw on your screen, they're between the ages of what, 18, 22, maybe 23. They've lived their entire lives in post 9/11 America. They've lived their entire lives in a country where the founding population, white people, just like themselves, is being openly marked for extinction. Their entire lives, especially when you factor in that most of these guys are not just white males, but white males from the South. They've been scapegoated. They've been called privileged, and they've been told that their time is up and that they best go sit down in the corner, not question any of the new Americans. And if they do speak up, they're accused of hate crimes like we're seeing happening right now. Young white men are told to sit down and shut up and risk jail time if they don't. Meanwhile, at the exact same time, roving mobs of blacks and illegal invaders are taking over American cities, beating down white residents, sometimes fatally, on a regular basis.
So now you have, you know, Edomites in America playing the victim. You know, they jumped into their victim role. And when these devils play victim, what comes after is the sword. Okay? What comes after is the lashing out. Okay? So now that dynamic added to it, and the Lord is just stirring up, all right, a gumbo of disaster. Okay? So I'm going to get this in the GNT. Okay? I'm going to get this in the GNT. This is 2nd Ezra 9:1. All right? And we always get it. You know, I read the GNT, and he goes into it. Okay, because all these things are orchestrated, and it's causing, you know, natural reactions, you know, but the chaos, you know, the beginning of the chaos is orchestrated by these devils, man. 2nd Ezra 9:1, he answered, consider all things very carefully. 2nd Ezra 9:1. When you see that some of the signs I have told you about have appeared, all right, just a reminder, this is the GNT version. You will know that the time has come when the Most High will bring judgment on the world he has created. There will be earthquakes, national rebellions, okay, national rebellions, international intrigues, okay, international intrigues, unstable leaders, okay, Netanyahu, Biden, okay, Macron of France, you know, just, you know, what is his name, Cameron of Britain, just unstable leaders, man, on every level, city level, state level, government level, just unstable leaders, man. You know, and it says, and confused rulers, okay, and confused rulers, man. And you know, when you really get into like what the EU got going on, it's a lot of confusion on how to handle Russia, man. You know, if we really want to, you know, get into that, you know, I've just been listening to a few things, you know, on these last couple of days, but it's a lot of confusions on what they want to do with Russia. And we're going to get into how they've been lying too, man. When you see these things happening, you will know that they are what the Most High, all right, that they are what the Most High has spoken about since the beginning of creation, man. All right, so we see these things happen in real time. And you go into that word of intrigues. I had looked it up. All right. So let's get that word intrigue. Okay. This is all we seeing. National rebellions, international intrigues. All right. So let's get this word intrigues. All right. Let's see. Thought I had it. Oh, here you go. All right. Let's get this word intrigues. Now you go to the second definition. It says to make secret plans to do something illicit or detrimental to someone. And all these governments are inspired against his people, man. And you look at the similar words, it says plot, to conspire, to take part in conspiracy, to make secret plans. And that's all these devils been doing, man. Order out of chaos. Okay, and this is a global thing. That's why you can go from nation to nation throughout the earth and you're seeing uproars, man. Okay, it says the secret plan of something illicit or detrimental. Okay, and this is what we're seeing, man, the scheming and the conspiring. Okay, so yeah, I got another video to show you how these devils, okay, are lying about what's going on. That's why Western media, you know, is very unreliable, man. You know, that's why, you know, that mainstream. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, to kind of segue, we'll just touch on what's happening in Ukraine. All right, so want to play this. Let's see. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna let this play. Now, listen to these devils and what they saying, what's happening in Ukraine, what they've been saying.
You might enjoy a light moment with American government officials in the past 2 years insisting Putin has already lost.
Can Ukraine win?
Yes.
Putin has failed, and he continues to fail.
Putin has already lost.
Putin's already lost the war.
Putin has already lost this war. I want to say that, and I want to say it loudly.
Putin has already lost in terms of what he was trying to achieve.
In many ways, Putin has already lost.
That is, Russia has already lost this war.
In short, Russia has lost. They've lost strategically, operationally, and tactically.
These are words to work by. Supplies, solutions, support. Call clickgranger.com.
Are these people intellectually honest enough?
So that's what's being reported in the West. Okay, well, let's go into what's really going on. All right, because you let the West tell it. Ukraine is kicking ass, man. Okay, just like they tell you the Israelis is kicking ass. Yeah, civilians, but let's just go here, man. My brother sent me this video. Okay.
На землю! Морда в землю! В броне что-то есть еще? Нет. Нет. Контроль!
So these are Russian soldiers. All right, these are Ukrainian soldiers surrendering to Russia. Okay? Russia applying big pressure over there, man. Big pressure. And see, it's going to another phase. All right, because NATO and EU have been using Ukraine to try to weaken, Russian military, to destabilize, Russian, government. Okay? And it ain't working. All right? So the West is telling you, yeah, we winning. No. All right. Oh, I think they report over 600,000 Ukrainian, military men have died, since the beginning of the conflict. Okay. So let's go here. All right. It's another one. Let me see. So you have what's going on now. All right. So Russia is pretty much, just having their way, with Ukraine. And it's to the point that Ukraine, have no more men left. That now the EU is considering, sending in, NATO troops, or troops from these different, European militaries. Okay. They're speaking about, delivering F-16s, okay, which have nuclear capability. All right, they're speaking about delivering those, to Russia. All right, and this is Russia's response. This is Putin, talking to his men. All right, his captains, generals. Okay. All right, so let's go into that.
NATO countries are planning to supply their fighters to Ukraine. It is being discussed in the media that S-16 aircraft will be used in the zone of a special military operation against Russian troops and facilities, including from the territory of NATO countries. Will we be allowed to hit these targets at NATO airfields?
Firstly, if they deliver the F-16, they talk about it, like they are training pilots. I think you understand this better than anyone else. Better than anyone else. This will not change the situation on the battlefield. And we will destroy their planes just as we destroy their tanks, armored vehicles, and other equipment today, including multiple launch rocket systems. Of course, if they are used from airfields of third countries, they become a legitimate target for us no matter where they are. And the F-16S are also carriers of nuclear weapons, and we will also have to take this into account when organizing combat work.
On February 21, you
So just to go into what was said, I wanted to play that real quick. So there was a dialogue between Putin, Vladimir Putin, and his top generals. And they're telling him that, you know, there's talks of them delivering F-16s, you know, to operate, you know, within, you know, this war, this conflict. Okay. And he said, you know, and they're asking permission, you know, do they have permission, you know, to fire on these planes? Okay. And what Putin said, you not only have permission to fire on the planes, but wherever those planes come from. Okay. So if those planes come from Finland, wherever those planes come from, all right, they shoot those planes down. And wherever those planes come from, they're going to destroy military targets from where those planes come from. And he said, and Putin said, wherever they come from. So if they come from France, they come from Germany, if they come from Poland, Finland, Sweden, okay, Romania, wherever them planes come from, the planes getting shot down, and they sending something to wherever them planes came from. So this is another phase, you know, that this is going into, and they have speculation. I've been listening, all right, and they speculate that by the summer, okay, June, July, you know, that they're supposed to deliver those planes, and you know that's the same time around that ground, you know, they're stopping Russia from really, you know, going deeper into Ukraine. It's supposed to dry up, you know. So we'll see, man. We'll be looking, you know, see how things play, man. Hey, it's gonna be a hot summer, all right. And we know, all right, before things, you know, go nuclear, okay, that other things have to play out, all right. But we're just watching these things, you know, as they build up, okay. So that's what Russia is with it, man. Okay, them small hats, you know, they're back in Rafah. You know, I say Iran made them sit their ass down, okay. And rethink, you know, about going all the way with it. All right, but eventually it's going to happen, man. You know, so yeah, I think let me see, the brother got in. Yep, I think that'll do it. All right, get one more to end it. Okay, because this is let's get this in Habakkuk. I mean, Ezekiel. Okay, and we'll end it here. You know, well, that's the points. Just dealing, you know, what's going on with recent events. Okay, with news and prophecy, man. Okay, you know, you stay glued in. You see, we some exciting times. All right, so let me just share real quick. All right, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 12. All right, in verse 22 says, "Son of man, what is that proverb that you have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged and every vision filleth?" Okay, tell them therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use as a proverb in Israel, but say unto them, the days are at hand and the effect of every vision, man. All right, so we're living, you know, in the effect, all right, of every vision. You know, this is what we're seeing being played out. So Lord will, you know, you brothers, all right, and, you know, you sisters were edified. You know, just want to go into things that's, you know, the happiness, okay, dealing with prophecy, man. So till next time, I say shalom, Kwam Yashala, all right, the Bible, soon, shalom.